Hi, my name is Keith, and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about a topic that's specifically for people who are not Christians, or people who respect Christianity but don't want to become Christians, people who are just like, I'm not into religion except like anything like that, or everyone just has a different thing to say, like, I practice this over here, etc. I'm not really into the church or whatever, I don't like religion like that. I'm going to tell you something, and I'd like you to watch this whole video, and if you're someone who's on my channel as a regular subscriber, I'd like you to watch this full video as well, and you can give this to any peers that you know who are not close to God. You can have them watch it, but one thing I'm going to ask for is your time, because basically my goal, and most importantly Jesus' goal, is to help you become more abundant. Why does Jesus want to move so many people closer to him? It's because he'd like to see everyone doing well. He has the full ability to look through other people's eyes and to be next to them. And it really hurts when you see someone not doing well and not being abundant because the only thing they're missing is God. So, and one thing I do very often is I don't want to say I convert people who are not Christians to being Christians, but that exactly is what it is. But not because I'm forcing them, more so because I show people who are not close to Jesus what Jesus is actually like. I'm going to tell you right now what Jesus is not actually like. If you know me, I actually when I go into public, either I'm in sword mode or shield mode. Basically, I'm ready to teach about the word of God and to fully debate people like pastors walking around. And what do I mean by that is because people will walk up to me and say to me, "Oh, cool stones, what are they for?" And I say, "They're for Jesus." Or I'll say, FloridaStoneman.com, depending if I want to just fully debate someone or not, because people are ready to go into it, but a lot of people don't know what they're saying. So, that's the thing. The church does not represent Jesus. It doesn't. And I don't like being this person, but I can catch almost any pastor not knowing the Bible. It sucks. It really does suck. And I don't do it in a mean way. But I catch pastors not having read the story, not have reading the stories they teach from. They're using a PowerPoint presentation that they saw someone else do. They have a story that comes from some kind of interpretation book. Or there's a small percentage of pastors that actually know the Bible, and they teach it correctly, but you can feel it. But a whole bunch are just kind of like copy and pasting, and they don't know what they're saying. So, and pastors can get very heated. A lot of them do have demons in them and around them and spirits. So can a good person have spirits? Yeah, look at the Bible. That's who they go after the most. It's like, okay, let's get this good person to go bad. So what you have to know is the church does not represent Jesus. I'm going to say it in this video. Every form of pope, all of them, I have to say this. Jesus allows me to. Every form of pope or higher whatever, those are not actual Christians. You have to do your own research on that. They all do this. That's all I'm saying. I don't have to say any more at all. I'm not saying any more. Okay? But they're not serving Jesus. Popes worship themselves. People in the church worship themselves. So, you know what normally happens is you'll have a good pastor and God does this on purpose. He'll flood the person's life with abundance, and he'll let their true colors come out. And that person will self-serve and have a new idea of what God is to them, because God has been so good to them when God kind of set them up to see what they would be like with their abundance. Private jets, not feeding the homeless, etc. You know what I'm talking about. So let's get into a different aspect of it. If you go into a church, a whole bunch of pastors, unfortunately, are just not connected to the Bible. They're students. They're actual students. So, the best people who I know the Bible are people who went to college to study the Bible, people who debate the Bible, like actual public debates, which I've done debates in the past before. I was a public speaker. I wasn't a very public speaker because I'd say things without sugar on them. And it would shock people. Their mouths would go. So I'm like, I would just say stuff straight up. I'm like, you want me to coat it with sugar and roll it around and put some jelly powder on it? Nope. But basically, what you have to start identifying is a good 90%. Actually, it's way more than 90. I don't even want to say this. So it's like 95. It's like almost no one has read the whole Bible. That's one thing you should know. Almost no one you ever talk to has read the whole Bible. I'm telling you this. It's a tough book to read. So they might have skimmed through it, they might have gone through it, but a good 99% of people you come across have not read the entire Bible who talk about it. And that's just something you have to accept. Have I read the whole Bible? No, because I'm not able to yet. Because when I go through the Bible, I actually see things, I retain them, I'm able to reteach them, but I don't go hopping around back and forth to verses I don't even know the story of. I don't talk things I don't know about, and Jesus told me that exactly, to not talk about things I don't know. So if I don't know something, for example, each chapter in the Bible is like a different biology class. Like, it really is. Some of it's so deep. If you go past one actual psalm, and you don't know what it means, you've missed the whole point. It doesn't mean what you think it means. It really doesn't. Because you really have to look at the story. You have to feel the essence, because people attach their own meanings to it. When the Bible, when you read it, it has an actual meaning already there. So people won't understand it and put a new assessment on it. So what does this create? It creates people running around not knowing the Bible. And they put their own interpretations and their own agendas into it, which makes it very dangerous. So most of these Christians out here have agendas. When they're preaching the Bible on the street, they're not doing it for God. They're doing it for themselves, for a podcast. They're doing it for a podcast. They're doing it for their... A lot of pastors know that when, basically, I'm going to say it like this. I'm just going to say it because like I said, I don't ever sugarcoat anything. A lot of people will see that men and women are attracted to men and women of God, and they'll find it attractive. They're like, oh, finally, a holy man, a holy woman. Finally. And they'll open their legs to someone, or they'll do more than that. Look at these pastors and these preachers. They'll do way more because they're like, okay, cool. This is God. This is who God wants for me, a holy person, versus you haven't asked God for that. God has one person for all of you. So basically, what you have to know is that there's a whole bunch of just false Christians running around, or Christians who don't know the actual Bible, and the world's kind of a mess. It happened after Moses went. The whole world went to just a complete mess after Deuteronomy in the Bible. And the Bible did say this. The Bible said the whole world will become very messy. So everyone will just do their own thing and have their own ways. That's the Old Testament, but even after Jesus died on the cross, people are still messy. Like, it's just the nature of this earth. People are messy, messy, messy. So you have these Christians running around judging, and that's the first thing. That's probably one of the most important verses in the Bible. Matthew 7:2, judge lest not you be judged, for whatever you judge you will be judged, and whatever measure you judge with will be used to judge against you. There you go. But that's not what it says. That's exactly what it says, and the way I can prove it is I can pray that prayer and say, God, if this person is judging me, I'd like you to judge them. And God will judge them, and they'll be hit with judgment, which is pretty strong, which is why I tell you guys to pray that, because if people are judging you to your face, and I had someone say, you worship those stones, you're a crystal worshiper, you are basically, they said some crazy stuff, and I'm like, I just prayed that prayer, and the person got hit so hard with karma that they became bedridden that day. So I wonder who's right. They're bedridden right now. The person's in bed, not able to get out of bed, seeing the sun go up and down, not having people bring food or water to them because they don't have people around them like that. So did I pray for that? No, I asked for them to be judged because they were judging me. So what do you think happens when someone does something very ugly to you guys, and you don't waste your time going back and forth with them? You go straight to God and say, okay, I'm just going to go to the principal. I'm going to go to the one at the top. It's like school. So like, I'm not wasting my time, because then two wrongs don't make a right. It really doesn't. So, and actually worse has happened to that person. They post it all on their profile. Let's just say that. I don't want to say anymore. It's not fun. I actually pray for the person to become a better person and do better, etc. You guys have to pray for your enemies. And I don't have enemies. I just see people who are just really low and who are going lower, and you have to pray for them to be better. So when I see people who are not doing well, you start praying good things for them, because that person would be a good person if they prayed good things. So in this video, it's a very dynamic video, actually. It's a very, 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 very dynamic video topic. So Christianity is not what people think it is. It's exactly what the Bible says it is, but people don't know. And you know how many people you want to know something so crazy? You know what? Have you guys ever read Dr. Seuss? A lot of you are like, well, yeah, I've read it. Have you read Dr. Seuss 2 and 3? No, I haven't read it. I hate Dr. Seuss and Dr. Seuss 2 and 3. I hate it. I don't like that word. I abhor it. No, I won't even say that for the sake of this video. I abhor Dr. Seuss 2 and 3. I can't stand Dr. Seuss 2 and 3. It's so annoying when I hear about Dr. Seuss 2 and 3. But you haven't read Dr. Seuss 2 and 3. Same exact thing goes with the Bible. People are out here, I can't stand to hear that Bible when they haven't read it. How are you going to hate on a book you haven't read? How are you going to hate on the clothes in a store you haven't walked into the store to see? This is what's wrong with people. You might know someone, and this is the thing. I'm going to tell you why a lot of people are afraid to go into Christianity, which is the truth. It is the truth. It is actual truth. So I've had people say, oh, and this is way back then, basically, they challenged me, and I'm like, okay, your God's against my God. Only one will come out on top. Only one will come out alive. So you can always, and actually I don't recommend that. So anytime someone's challenged you, just be like, okay, your God against my God. Things get messy, and then only one person comes out. That's spiritual war. And God wins every battle. Jesus Christ, the Most High God, wins every battle. So I wear gemstones, and people judge me for it. But literally God said to people, actually no. God said to Moses to tell Aaron in the Bible, in Exodus, I believe it's 28 through 30. I forget the exact verse because it's 28. It's about that. Around that verse. Actually, yeah. So, in the Bible, I have my Bible directly next to me. But, and then when I start talking about the Bible, someone's like, oh, they start judging. That's people's favorite thing to do. Like, oh, the devil knows the Bible too. Everyone should know the Bible, actually. So, that's the craziest thing other Christians do, is they start judging other people and making other people feel bad. So you're like, why would I want to be like that person? Why would I want to be that person who's judging everyone? Why would I want to be like that mean person? Well, that person's not an actual Christian, and God has a problem more with that person than he does with you. So why would you want to move closer to Jesus? It's because Jesus just wants to see you do well. There's no doing well without Jesus. There's no doing well without Jesus. I'm telling you. Oh, and I said that a long time ago, and people like, well, look at all these Hollywood stars, and I said, they're going to fall because they don't have Jesus backing them. One sinister thing the devil does is he builds people up to just take everything away. So what you do when you move closer to Jesus, you have things built, and you know how God works? You know how Jesus works? Sometimes Jesus won't even have you building something. If you look at Israel in the Bible, in Numbers, Deuteronomy, the book of Joshua, God had enemies built the promised lands. Literally, those walls were tall. The grass, all the fruit was fertile. You know how long? It took them hundreds of years to get to that point for Israel to just come and take it. So sometimes, a lot of the time, God will not even want you building something. The devil wants you building something. So it depends. It's just depending on the person's plan. So sometimes God will just want you to inherit abundance. So the devil will have you work in a job for the rest of your life. That's why God blocks a whole bunch of people from getting jobs. He's like, stop trying to get this job. Start your own business and I'll back you. Oh, and then people will say it's consistent income. So this is the biggest thing. Jesus doesn't want you having consistent income. He wants you having big income that is reliant on him. So sometimes it's consistent. Sometimes it's not consistent until it is consistent. But that's just how it starts. So what am I saying? Jesus wants you to take a gap, like a giant jump with him. What if you don't see money for a period of time? Then you'll see it all at once. You might go 3 months without seeing $1 when, for example, doing something with Jesus. And then you'll see, when I say 300,000, that's exactly what I mean. When I say 300,000, he'll stick it in your account. I'm not joking. Oh, you met this person and at this company and they're like, okay, I have a position for you. All you have to do is this, but you have to come in and you have to walk around and we're going to promote you to this. And it's just like, you know, the most unlikely things happen to the people who actually believe in miracles. So why would you want to move closer to Jesus? He would like to do big things with you guys. Like literally, he has a plan, but you guys have your own plans. For people who are not of Jesus, people have their own plans and it doesn't work. You can do the same thing over and over. And what is insanity? The same thing over and over again that doesn't work. So you can have your own plan. You can do your own thing in life. You can have your own life. You can pick who you want to pick in life. Or you can have Jesus pick and you can get it right the first time and not waste your whole life away basically doing the same wrong thing over and over again. So Jesus just wants to have you guys being abundant. Oh, but there's rules. Yeah, those rules keep you safe. So the devil, I'm going to tell you right now, you want to know why Lucifer fell from heaven? No, I won't say that name. I'm going to say the name. Lucifer was a cherubim, one of God's finest performing angels in all of heaven. Top angel, actually. And that angel fell because that angel was so comfortable on their path. And yeah, angels have paths too. That angel said to himself, I have a plan for myself, and I really do think it's better, but God's not letting me do my plan. This is a very sacred story. And that angel did its own plan, but it fell apart because it wasn't God's plan. And all of Legion fell with that angel. So there are people on this earth who are like angels, but they will fall. So you see all these celebrities, they built everything their whole lives, and everything has gone 30 years of everything going perfectly means nothing when that 31st year, everything falls apart and you can never recover because you have about how many years of your life left of just remembering of what you had. You know how bad it is to be a has-been than it is to not have anything at all? So that's what's happening to all these celebrities. So they're being publicly exposed, they're attacking each other. I predicted that last year. I'm not the kind of person to say, I told you so. Watch my prediction videos. That's exactly what I said. So the stars will be falling, but some of them are falling into each other. But if you're not a Christian, just understand Jesus would like you to do well. And a lot of these non-Christians actually, and I'll tell a non-Christian, I'm like, you don't even know how close Jesus is to you. Once they find out and they feel how close Jesus is, and they start having their own idea of what Jesus is, but the key is to not have your own idea about who God is because he's holy, he has rules, is to understand he has his own relationship with you versus how he has a relationship with someone else. So a lot of times a pastor will tell you, oh, this is how you have your relationship with God. You know, I'm going to one day talk about, it'll be a long video, but how I started off gemstones into jewelry, into holy sacred artifacts that I use to help heal other people through the Lord. And you know how much oppression from other people's opinions I had, and how strongly, people made fun of me. And it's almost every last person that I know in person who made fun of me had to come to me for healing for something. Well, my finger hit the pause button. And that means this video is getting long, but basically, I have to be careful how I say this. There's nothing that Jesus has not put on this planet. No emotion, no mood, no stress, no what you're going through. Everything can be taken care of. Very simple. Sometimes a lot of what you guys have can be cured immediately through Jesus. You could be suffering with something for 10 years and it could be gone in 10 seconds. I'm not joking. Look at Mark 3:37 in the Bible. So whatever you suffer with can be gone immediately through Jesus. But how? Just put your ear to Jesus and wait. You know, the biggest problem when people go to listen to God, sometimes he won't answer because that's not when he wants to answer. Sometimes he's like, I'm going to tell you later. Let me tell you later. I don't feel like telling you now. But people will be like, okay, whatever, or come up with their own answer. So when you put your ear to God, and you're like, okay, I didn't hear anything, I didn't feel anything, okay. And you just have to accept that God didn't answer. Sometimes he'll answer you and just be like, I don't want to say it now. I don't feel like saying it. Or he'll just look at you like, not the time to ask. And then he'll just surprise you with the answer. So one way to be able to heal yourself, anything spiritually, you know, this is YouTube, so I can only say certain things, is with gemstones. And I'd like you to think about it like this. Draw a line from the earth and draw a line to the heavens. It's literally an arrow to heaven. So gemstones, people will make fun of gemstones when it's literally carnelian and red jaspers in the Father's throne. So you're insulting something or you're not believing in something that literally God the Father is sitting on. So everyone in heaven is associated with gemstones as well. Why? Is because I cannot talk about the secrets of okay. I don't want to say secrets of heaven on here. But let's just say almost everyone in heaven wears gemstones. That's the most I could possibly say. So even people who went against gemstones, the Bible talks about mountains of gemstones in heaven. Gemstones are almost everywhere in heaven. So You can calculate that at a frequency. To not do well is to be closer to the compartments of the earth, because earth is literally next to hell. It's literally on top of hell. So, feeling good, moving closer to Jesus in the heavens. Feeling not good, going closer to Sheol. So when you wear pieces of heaven, it helps you feel better. And I remember, and this video is getting long because I can talk about this for a while. When you are someone who does something unorthodox, you get unorthodox results. So I'm someone who teaches about and sells gemstones, or that is able to help other people, versus people telling me I'm demonic or basically scared of gemstones, because people are scared of what they don't know. So basically, God will have people doing unorthodox things, because all of the Bible is literally unorthodox things. If you don't believe me, read the first couple of chapters of Genesis. You'll know. It's like, okay, God does things a little bit differently. So, if you're someone moving closer to God, Jesus Christ, the Most High God, He is the Most High, then explore your relationship with Jesus on your own. The one way to make it easy to keep out negative influences I recommend is gemstones. So Halloween is around the corner, and I do recommend for everyone on here to get a tourmaline necklace from my website. Do I need to sell them? No. Have I been talking about them? No. Do I realize people need protection? Yeah. Get a tourmaline necklace minimum. And then I have to talk about the physical aspects of gemstones too. I'm a little more chatty today because this is a deep topic. I'd like to help more non-Christians become closer to Jesus, and sometimes entities have to play with that. So basically, entities... Who's snort? Basically, entities have a role with that. So an entity can cause someone to be very far away from God, so gemstones can help with that as well. Okay, this video's up because I don't know if you guys can hear snoring, but someone's snoring. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. God bless all of you. Ciao.